On tonight's edition of the FATSIDE Footy podcast, a week defined by cliffhangers and cakewalks. Ross, no longer the boss. Roughy bows out on top. Was that game of the year? And are the dogs daring to dream again? All that and more on the FATSIDE. Yes, another big welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the FATSIDE Footy podcast. Well, he's a bit happy this week because his boys got up. I'm joined here, as always, by my very good friend, Bobby. Bobby, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, Jacko. Look, how are you handling the adjustment? No nosebleeds, don't need to pop your ears?
No, I'm all right.
Yeah, life above the line's a bit different, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
The air's a bit clearer.
Yep.
You can't smell the rotting corpse of the Melbourne Footy Club.
Yep, absolutely.
And the Holy Grail is within reach, potentially, for your boys.
Well, I mean, 7 spots up for grabs, and you know what we did when we finished 7th last time.
Well,
so.
Enjoy being up the top, mate, for a week. Anyway, let's crack into the results. With barely any room to fall further, the Demons found a way to stoop lower in 2019 when the Swans pumped them by 53 points in front of 23,000 at the MCG. I'm undecided what's more painful, Jacko, watching the D's play footy or catching a bouncer from Jofra Archer.
It's watching the D's play footy for me.
That prick better sleep with one eye open.
My eyes are closed.
To the stats. Well, Gawn owned the air, but the D's lost the clearances, thanks in large part to Josh Kennedy racking up 10 of them on his own. Ollie Florent led Sydney's disposals with 28. Sam Reid was pretty handy, 3 goals and 7 marks, while Jimmy Rowbottom earned himself a Rising Star consideration for his 14 touches and 2 goals. The Demons were woeful. 3 goals 5 to Jake the Snake Melksham. It was over half of their total points, Melbourne. 42 points is all they managed to kick at the MCG.
Wow.
They did win the disposal count, the inside 50s, the free kicks, and the contested possessions. But they couldn't translate that into an AFL performance whatsoever. Next one up, one of the games of the round, as predicted, when Carlton just outworked the Saints in the last to win by 10 points. 78-68, the final scores. Plenty of pleasing moments for both teams in that game. The future appears bright for all concerned, but the Blues had the veteran presence when needed to steady the ship and claim the 4 points. Cruiser eventually got on top of Marshall with 9 clearances and 8 inside 50s. Smurfer led the touches for Carlton with 27 and kicked a beautiful boom-na-na from about 40.
God, it's becoming his trademark, hasn't it?
It really is that kick. It's nice. And even Guts McGovern received his participation ribbon at Fat Camp. And
Slimmer of the month, I think.
Yeah, well done. Better. Returned to boot 3 snags and took an absolute hanger as well for the boys.
I heard during the week he's on the gluten-free Kranskis now, so good on him.
Delicious.
The Saints had all their best players stand up as well. Billings had 26 and 1 goal 1. Seb Ross 29 at 86%. Membry kicked 3 goals 2. And Hannah's had 8 clearances and a goal. But like when my missus steals my food before I've tried it, it's a gentle loss.
Oh, I know the pain.
But you know it won't be long before you pump them, so...
For you, maybe.
You're in the 8, mate. Just tell her you're in the 8.
Yeah.
Then nearly the game of the goddamn year, the ultimate top-of-the-table test, and what a stunning ending. 90 seconds to go, the Cats up by 4 points, and Lincoln McCarthy pulled this rabbit right out of his arse.
Fumbles it back towards Witherden. Another entry. Oh, the big ride! McCarthy in game number 50 against his former team. What a mark! Think back to the miracle on grass. It was the milestone game, McGrath, with the winner after the siren in game 200. Now game number 50, and it's all been worth the ride for Lincoln McCarthy.
Rightfully dubbed the miracle on grass 2, this game had it all. The clearances were even, as were the inside 50s, and the tackle count was separated by only 1. Goes to show you how even these two teams really are right now. Danger, he was a man-possessed, 36 and 23 contested, and then a 70-metre snag in the fourth too.
Oh, gorgeous that was.
Tom Stewart, busy down back, 22 and 9 rebound 50s, but no scoreboard impact from the Tomahawk, and a pretty average contribution from Duncan and Kelly. It was pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
For the Lions, Neil, Lyons and McCluggage combined for 31 fourth quarter disposals. They owned the Gabatoir in the fourth quarter. They each had over 27 touches, kicked a goal, and had nearly 1,500 metres gained combined. Charlie woke up after halftime with 4 second-half goals, ending up with 5 goals too in a match-winning effort, despite the old sour flog Chris Scott saying he lacked influence. Collingwood felt comfortable enough to pull Adelaide's pants down in front of their home crowd and spank them 66 points in the end. It was like watching white fellas try and win an Olympic marathon. The Crows just couldn't keep up. A massive third quarter push by the Pies saw them pile on 6-3 against Adelaide's 1-2, and after they added 6 more in the fourth, the damage was done, and it's all but ended the Crows' 2019 season. Elliott bagged 5-2 to go with 10 marks and 2 goal assists. Maynard took some time off cooking meth and hunting alligators to dish up 30...
Your daddy's 3 sheets to the wind and he's passed out in the cold.
Dished up 30 at 83% and a goal. Taylor Adamsey led the clearances and added 2 goals, but the domination meant the stats were pretty widely dispersed amongst the Pies. Everyone got a taste. For the Crows, Betts kicked his 600th career snag.
Very nice.
Rare moment of pride for the hometown fans. Darcy Fogarty kicked 3 goals of Adelaide's 6 in total. Looking very good, young Fogarty. That's 8 goals in 2 weeks. But nothing...
Amazing what happens when they play him.
Absolutely. Nothing else noteworthy for the Crows. A pretty crap effort. And Pike has the unenviable task of picking a strong 22 to try and save his job, whereas playing the kids this week would be a better option, realistically.
Seedsman's best game for a while.
He's had a few good ones this year,
Yeah,
but not a bad game. North versus Port wasn't much different, to tell you the truth. Another South Australian team had its colours lowered when the Roos crushed them, 144 to 58. Shades of the Dogs versus the Bombers from the week before, to be honest. Port didn't offer up any resistance from the first to last bounce. The big man in stripes, Todd Goldstein, he wheeled out all his prowess to own the middle. Like Tyson versus Holyfield, he destroyed Laddams and Ryder and tore strips off them. He finished with 34, 88%, 9 clearances, and a snag. But North, their sideshow Bob, he stole the show. Ben Brown, 10 majors in the biggest snag stashing of the year.
And Higgins goes inside 50 for Ben Brown, who's got it for double figures. For number 10. There it is. Ben Brown hits double figures.
He now leads the Coleman by 2. Higgins, he led the disposals with 38 and 9 inside 50s, while Cunners had 37 and 9 clearances to go along with 20 contested, and young Nick Larkey, good sidekick Nick, he bagged himself 5 majors. The Power, they only had 3 players over 20 disposals.
Ridiculous.
Travis Boak, he was the best, 29 and 8 clearances. Robbie Gray had 3 goals, but Port lost the disposal count by over 200.
Wow.
The clearances by 20 and the contested possessions by over 50.
That's disgusting. Don't come Monday.
Yeah, well,
if
some of
I
those
overheard one.
differentials are record differentials for
Yep.
this season. But hilariously, Port's season is still alive versus Freo this week.
Yep. But we all know what's going to happen. Ross the boss is gone. Caretaker coach curse. Not happening to the Dogs, thank God.
David Maximum Cranium Hale. Gonna do some magic.
Yeah, mate. Absolutely.
Look, they're my boys. They booked September action. Woohoo! With a comfy 32-point win over the Freo Dockers. The Bombers responded from last week, and from the opening bounce, they looked like a different team. The fallout came on Tuesday for Freo when they axed Ross the boss and their CEO unceremoniously. They've lost more members than any other club. Talk of financial pressure as well.
Sponsors not happy.
They look about as tantalising as a Carolyn Wilson kissing booth right now.
No.
The Dons lost most of the key stats, believe it or not, and poorly, some of them. However, they punished the Dockers in turnovers in fine counter-attacking fashion. That has become the brand for Essendon this year. Ambrose gave Fife the blanket, as best any man can. He quelled his influence. Merritt worked hard for 10 tackles and 2 goals. Stringer looked deadly up forward early, but he finished with 2 goals too, and Sard's return well received, 10 rebound 50s and 27 touches at 89%.
Love the flashback jerseys from Freo, but it was flashback Freo, wasn't it?
Very much. Well, look, Michael Walters, he was the standout, 36 and 2 goals too.
Brilliant.
Langdon, who apparently is on his way out guaranteed, he added 37 and 8 inside 50s.
Off to Gosh's paddock, I hear, Melbourne.
Cam McCarthy added 3 goals, but not enough. The Bombers are in September, and it's bloody sweet, mate. I'm loving every moment of it.
Yeah. Now, how are you feeling? You must be proud as punch. Yeah, you were pretty worried at the start. And, you're in the chopping block. But, yeah, you've made it. So, I hope you win one. First time in 15 years?
Yeah, it is the first time in 15 years.
Yeah.
It's a pass mark to make finals,
Yep.
considering the injuries that we've had. So, I'm just happy to be in the finals, mate. Sunday, game of the year. Richmond West Coast was a high-class, seesawing arm wrestle at the home of football, and the Tigers triumphed with a late fourth quarter goal to Jack Rewalt.
Tied off to Deck. If you can see to behind. He doesn't to Nelson. It would have put them in front. They didn't concede the behind. And now they might concede a goal. Rewalt! Tigers by 6.
The scores ended up 88 to 82 with many statistical categories coming close to even. Hard to separate these two. If they played again next week, it'd still be a coin flip to pick a winner in my opinion. Dusty was huge, 35 and a goal. Bashahuli racked up 34 at 83%. Lynch kicked 3. And Titch Edwards had 11 clearances from his 29 touches. But amazingly, that stat was surpassed by Elliot Yeo. He had 15 clearances for the Eagles. Hearn had 12 rebound 50s from his 24 touches. Jamie Cripps led their goal kickers with 3 straight, and Gaff added 29 and 15 contested through the guts. Both deserve to be equal premiership favourites. For me, would you agree, Jacko?
Absolutely, yeah. Gee, we'd be in for a good grand final if it's these two.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Your boys, they are now masters of their own fate, Jacko. After smashing the GWS Giants by 10 goals to climb into the 8, shaping as the favourite pre-game, the Dogs were challenged by our hungrier Orange Brigade in the first half with a 3-point lead to the Giants at the main change. But, much like the Challenger Space Shuttle, the Giants broke apart under heat and exploded in the second half. The Dogs kicked 12 unanswered to finish the game and almost book in September action. Big games from the usual suspects: Dunkley, 31, 10 tackles, 2 goals. McRae, 39, 7 clearances. Bont, 26 and 8 clearances. And almost all the forwards hit the scoreboard. The Giants had pretty big efforts from Nick Haynes with 26 and 9 marks. Whitfield had 31 and 7 clearances. And Toby Green was damaging early with 2 goals too. But right now, they look easier to beat than a game of name that saying against George Bush.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Both our teams, Jacko, would love to be playing the Giants week 1 of the finals.
Yep. Please, again, up there, doesn't matter.
All right, last game of the round saw the Hawks. They held an uncontested farewell parade for Jared Roughhead. They trounced the Suns, who Caro labelled the Werribee Threes.
Oh! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the send-off culminated in the great man taking home a bag.
Here we go. Gunston sets his sights on Roughhead. So the siren's going to sound. And what a day it's been. What a privilege it's been to be here. Luke Bruce takes the shot after the siren. But it's all about this man who's been all about his mates. He's meant so much to so many.
Roughy kicked a late fourth quarter goal. He celebrated like he'd won a flag. And he got a fairy tale hero send-off. I haven't seen an old fella get so carried away with himself since Ricky Nixon.
But rightfully so. Amazing.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah. One of the better blokes in footy.
Lost in all this is how poor the Suns actually were. They were 2-2 in recent form against Hawthorn before Sunday.
Yep.
But they essentially opened their legs and allowed a lubed-up party-time Hawthorn to touch them up at will. Warple, who might come close to sharking a BNF in his second year.
Yeah.
He had 34, 20 contested, 13 clearances and 2 goals.
He's the future, isn't he? Looks good in that number 5.
The Chad, he was pretty busy. 10 tackles and 2 goals for himself. While Burgoyne got an on-field look at the mob he'll have to lead next year. They probably look slightly less attractive than Damien Peveril right now, the Suns. Hanley and
better than Lingy either.
Hanley and Harbrow, they tried to do the veteran thing with 34 and 32 touches respectively. Miller had 30 at 80% and 6 clearances, and Swallow can hold his chin up again, grabbed 20 hard pills and 11 clearances, but the 70-point drubbing, it's the penultimate torture for them with GWS likely to inflict some damage this week as well. Now, out of all those cliffhangers and all those cakewalks, Jacko, which one piqued your interest the most?
No, it's game of the year for me. Sunday, Richmond versus West Coast. We both tipped West Coast, and I was pretty confident West Coast would come and get the job done. And at quarter time, I was very happy with that tip. Yeah, dry weather suited West Coast. Look, they got out the gates nice and quickly. Jack Darling, gee, he looked good early. Jamie Cripps, Liam Ryan, all their forwards were firing, looking really good. Elliot Yeo, fantastic footballer.
He is a superstar.
Yeah, an absolute superstar. Pretty much he's in the elite category for me now. And they just they killed them through the middle early on, and they just looked like they were going to get the job done pretty comfortably. But Richmond, God, they can take a punch. They really brought themselves back into the game, and none better. I mean, led from the front, Dustin Martin.
Yeah, he was the reason through the second and third quarter.
Yeah,
absolutely
just fantastic. He was back to his best. He was weaving. He was breaking tackles. He was just on that classic Dusty Martin burst and just bombing it forward.
Yep.
And looked really good. The Battle of the Twin Towers, one of the more exciting.
Absolutely.
That's what we were most excited for. And, and Rewalt and Lynch ended up winning that. So, it was a fantastic game. Look, I've just got a few numbers here for you. 12 rebound 50s from 24 disposals, Shannon Hearn. That's remarkable. Elliot Yeo with the 15 clearances, just fantastic. But what really tickled my fancy was Dylan Grimes.
Oh, superb.
Isn't he just? He had 17 disposals, 8 of them contested, 100% efficiency.
Yep.
100%. Look, they used him obviously as the sweeper, which West Coast really they didn't want to lose a man to cover the hole, and they took the punt and didn't go with that option. I bet Simo probably wish he did, just to try and shut him down a bit, because he was just the general down there. He's elevated his game to levels where we thought. We thought we're seeing the best of him, but he's even better without Ranson on the ground.
He is.
The responsibility he has taken it's been fantastic.
Do you think that he got lost in the wash of the hype of Alex Rance?
Yep.
Or do you think that he's elevated himself and played better than he's ever played before because he has no support?
Yeah, it's because he knows he has to step up.
Not no support. Lack of support.
Oh, yeah. A Ranceless backline would hurt anyone. But he's taken the responsibility, and it's worked tenfold for him and the footy club. They're better for him. There's an unfortunate talking point in this game, and it's the umpiring again.
Horrible.
Jack Rewalt twice. Now, Bob, the question I pose to you, is that a howler? Are they both howlers for you?
Yeah, of course they're howlers.
The rule says the potential to cause injury.
With studs up.
The Toby Green rule, they call it. However, I don't think 2 studs at the end of a light boot to the back of a Barras hamstring has potential to cause any injury at all.
Yeah, well, clearly that rule was worded improperly, and we've seen multiple umpires do it. There was a Jeremy Howe one earlier in the year. So the umpires have been ready to call this all season.
Yeah.
They just haven't had the data, or they haven't had the circumstances in which they've had to blow their whistle. Yeah. Given the chance, they will make the wrong call. Yeah. It goes against the entire spirit of the game.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it. The AFL backflipped immediately. What I cannot stand is the AFL saying, to the letter of the law, those 2 incidents were called correctly. Admit the mistake. Admit the mistake.
They never do. I think they did it once this year, didn't they? And we nearly took our clothes off and partied. Yeah, but they're not going to do it again. I love Rewalt's reactions, though. My God, the second one when he stamps both feet. Yeah. Brilliant. Classic Rewalt. But look, Rewalt's finisher at the end. But it's Tom Lynch. So impressive. He is bought in to the Richmond way of football.
Very much so.
Yeah, and the pressure he applied, caused the turnover late in the game, and it fell in the right hands of Rewalt, and he snapped the winner 4 minutes to go, and that was lights out.
Yeah, it caused a rare mistake from West Coast. Some of the stats from early on, I think it was the first quarter, they were tracking at 81% disposal efficiency, which is just unheard of numbers. And Dimmer even said, the way in which they put 7 goals on us, I didn't know what I was going to do to stop it.
Yeah.
But he got a little bit of a rise out of Soldo and Chol in the ruck, because Hickey had their measure. He turned that around. He spun...
Hickey was good.
He was very good at the start, and Dimmer spun the magnets. And he made some adjustments in-game, proved why he's an exceptional game day coach. So they are a serious threat to take home the cup, mate.
Yeah. And look, the debate, we saw it firsthand on the weekend. Dry weather first half, wet weather second half. So if these two are playing off in the granny, West Coast favourite if it's sunny and 25.
Yep, agreed.
But if it's overcast and 18 with showers, I dare say Richmond will win the premiership. So,
couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So, but I do have one last question from the game. Well, I'll give you the 3, and I want you to rank them for me. Liam Ryan's mark against Melbourne, Liam Ryan's mark against Carlton, and Liam Ryan's mark on the weekend.
That's a tough one. I love the one against Max Gawn.
Yeah.
That's
because he ran 50 metres.
It's brilliant.
60 metres.
Yeah, it's absolutely
and you saw
brilliant.
it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exhibited all the skills we want an AFL player to have. So he read the flight of the ball.
Yep.
He read his body positioning in the air. He premeditated that
Sense
jump.
the moment too.
Yeah, sense the moment. Like, everything about that was perfect football.
Yeah.
So that's got to be number one for me. Oh, geez. Raffle between the other two. Maybe I'll say the one on the weekend just because it's fresh in my mind.
Yep.
But
it was pretty remarkable.
It was very
a
remarkable.
full pack mark.
Yeah.
But just quickly, my best on ground for the game's Dustin Martin. 818 metres gained. That's elite. Fantastic. So he was everywhere and he was back to Dusty Martin best. Looked like 2017 Dusty Martin out there. West Coast. Nothing to cry about.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. They'll take lessons from the end of that game. And it won't hurt them too much. They'll just go back and they'll win. I mean, we'll go to our tips at the end of the pod, but they'll go and get the job done at home next week. God, we're in for a big final series if these two meet again. Which
Absolutely.
They probably will. So I look forward to that, Bob. Ooh, it's that time of the week where we give kudos to the best players on ground all weekend. Bobby, it's the FATSIDE MVP votes once and for all. All right, Bobby, I'm going to kick us off, and I'm going to give a one vote to Mark Murphy
Oh, very
from the
nice.
Carlton Footy Club. 27 disposals at 85%, 10 of them contested. Kicked, as you said before, a boo-na-na from about 40 out. Showed the most personality I've ever seen him show. About six how you goings to the Carlton faithful that showed up. 50,000 of them, I must say. They're coming out of the woodwork. Lygon Street must have been closed. But look, yeah, he was back to classic Mark Murphy. 5 tackles, 6 inside 50s. And my second vote, Dustin Martin. Richmond fans will be like, 2 votes? Yeah, 2 votes. His efficiency was pretty crap.
Yeah, it was average.
Yeah. So 35 disposals, only at 57%. He kicked a goal, 6 clearances, 13 inside 50s, and a whopping, as I said, 818 metres gained. My 3 votes, Patrick Dangerfield. 36 disposals, 23 of them contested. 1 kilometre goal.
That was a huge goal.
It's a huge goal. Yeah, on the burst, from 70 out, rolled through for a snag. 9 clearances, 8 inside 50s. God, he's amazing. He is an amazing football player.
Absolutely.
I love him. Once in a generation superstar. My 4 votes. Oh, I love him. Goes to my boy, Josh Dunkley. 31 disposals, 13 contested at 84%, 8 clearances, 10 tackles. Classic Josh Dunkley football. It's a weekly basis at the minute. God, he is hotter than me on the dance floor at 4 o'clock last Friday night, post-wedding.
No, whip!
No, I didn't go there. Anyway, my 5 votes couldn't go to anyone else. It's Sideshow Bob, Ben Brown.
Mama, there goes that man.
Big Benny Brown, 14 disposals at 93% efficiency. If he didn't kick that behind, it would have been 100. 10 goals. Pretty much announced to the world that he's this year's Coleman medalist. Just amazing. I mean, it was a cakewalk. I think I would have kicked 10 against Port Rabelais. But, and I don't say that lightly. Get stuffed, Port. 10 goals. Amazing. Must I add to that game as well, 7 North Melbourne players had 30 or more disposals.
Huge.
Oh.
Huge numbers. Well, that's why they had a 200 disposal differential.
Yeah, disgusting.
200.
Yeah. Do you know how many over 30s Port had? None. Houston, 29 disposals. Anyway, it's not about them. Ben Brown, 5 votes for you this week, champion. Good on you, mate. Bobby, let the world know your votes.
Well, before I kick mine off, I'll just give some honourable mentions to guys that aren't going to make it. Warple.
Yep.
He's one definitely very close to making the cut.
These are
for
all
me.
my honourable mentions too, because I know where you're going with this.
Roughy
Yep.
for kicking 6.
Yep.
You know, close to a vote any
Wanted
other
to add
week.
him in.
Higgins, Cunners, Goldstein. Obviously, these guys are cakewalking around witches' huts.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of performances in there where guys had standout games. The numbers just really were off the charts for them. A lot of personal bests this weekend. But ultimately, I think the guys that we're going to end up giving votes to earned it in tougher games against more quality opponents.
Yeah.
My first vote, it goes to Charlie Cameron. 10 second half touches for 4 goals. Now, last week, he had 10 touches.
I feel like I'm robbing poor Charlie.
That's 2 weeks in a row. He's done things that we talk about. We talk about Cyril being the most damaging small forward or half forward, you know, in modern history because of his 10 touch imprimatur, and Charlie Cameron is doing it consecutive weeks. He can't be overlooked. He was quiet in the first half, but he lit up that second half, so that's why I've given him 1 vote. My 2 goes to Jared Lyons. Match winner, Jared Lyons. Multiple weeks in a row, to be honest, as well. 11 tackles, 10 inside 50s, 11 last quarter possessions, 7 of them contested, and 3 clearances. He's elevated himself this year. Imagine how Gold Coast are feeling right now. We've said that multiple weeks that he's been given votes because
we'll say it forever now.
This guy, he has actually climbed all the way up in the FATSIDE MVP votes. After giving him 2, he sits at 20. He's on the same amount of votes that we've given Tim Kelly this year. But such a strong back half of the year. He's been better than Lachie Neale since the bye, and that's saying something. My 3 votes, it goes to Dustin Martin. When Richmond are trying to recapture that premiership vibe that carried them through that September, he is nailing it. He's spiritually and physically leading them towards that holy grail. Like you said, 818 metres gained. Forget the disposal efficiency because some of those are banging them in for the Twin Towers. 13 inside 50s. So when they needed to claw it back in the second and the third, he was clearly the difference in the 2 teams. And I loved every second of watching Dusty try and own the MCG. It was a true battle.
Best on ground for you too?
Best on ground for me. I'd love to see Yo and him go head to head. If they cross paths again. Because Yo's strong enough to take him on. Remember, in one of those finals where he was the first one, Elliot Yo, to figure out the don't argue. He slapped the arm out of the way and laid the tackle. He put the clamps on Dusty Martin a few years ago. So I reckon he could do it again.
Just a hypothetical quickly with Elliot Yo. Imagine if he was still at Brisbane in this team. Food for thought there.
Imagine if half the players they let go of were still at Brisbane.
Yeah, it'd be pretty nice.
All right, my 4 votes, it goes to Paddy Dangerfield. Now, he led the Cats in clearances, disposals, intercept possessions, contested possessions. He had 11 score involvements, and he had 14 touches in the last quarter and that goal. That is champion stuff. That is champion stuff. I led my team all day, and to just go down by a miracle without the help, like I said earlier, without the standard help that he would hope to bank from Kelly and Duncan, he nearly won that game for Geelong all on his own.
No wonder he looked like a 5-year-old dropping an ice cream after that siren, man. He was shattered.
He was absolutely shattered. Gave his all, that's why.
My
My 5 votes, just like you, it goes to the big palm tree. It's Ben Brown.
Mama, there goes that man.
Look, there's not much more to say. You've already said it. 10 snags. Nearly 100% efficiency. No one's done it this year.
No.
A lot of them were largely uncontested, but his forward craft is so elite that they couldn't stop him. At some point, when someone's kicked 6 or 7 and there's a fair bit of time left to play, you try and put the clamps on. Just out of self-respect, if you're a defender. Still couldn't stop him.
Amazing.
So, that's why he gets the 5 votes. Now, all right, so the leaderboard. There is only 3 men that can potentially win this. Coveted.
Tell me who it is, Bob.
Inaugural FATSIDE MVP.
10-pack of Cougar for him. Who is it?
Leading Patrick Cripps on 34, climbing into second place after this week. Patrick Dangerfield on 29, and then Brodie Grundy in third on 27. So none of the rest can surpass Paddy Cripps. So it's between those 3 men. Paddy is going to line up against Paddy. Cripps and Danger will go head to head to potentially decide the FATSIDE MVP. Brodie Grundy, it should be said, will go probably up into the ruck uncontested or against Zach Clark, which is exactly the same thing when they face Essendon on Friday night. So he's every chance of pulling out 8 or 10 votes, this fella. So it is a tight race. It is down to the wire for the FATSIDE MVP, and all 3 of those boys will be up there in the Brownlow vote. So I think we've tipped pretty well for our voting over the year, mate. All right, well, it's that time of the week where I test the mercury on Jacko's intellect. It is time for Hot and Cold.
Well, there's not much there, mate. I did VCAL and went to see it. So, it's lacking, but we'll give it a go.
Barracks for the Bulldogs. Now,
hey.
Hot last week, your boy, Bailey Dale, versus the Giants. I was after 2 goals and 4 marks in that game. You said yes, 2 goals, 5 marks. Big tick for you, mate.
You're guilty.
Came through, your fella. The other one was Brody Myercheck. I wanted 3 goals and 3 contested marks versus Adelaide. You said yes, 0 scores, 1 contested mark. Bow. That's a froth. Now, for my running hot this week.
He's heating up. He's on fire.
Shane Edwards.
Hey.
Now, he's featured in here before when he was actually running cold.
Yes.
And he's responded and elevated since then.
Yeah.
The huge last 3 weeks this fella has seen him average 29, 7 clearances, 5 tackles, 5 inside 50s. The 3 weeks prior to that, he was averaging 18 touches, 1.5 clearances, 1.5 tackles, 2 inside 50s. So it's a huge jump. I want 27 touches, 5 clearances, and 5 inside 50s versus Brisbane.
Nah, not against Brisbane.
Not against Brisbane. All right, we'll lock that in. Now, my other running hot this week.
He's heating up. He's on fire.
It's the Warpedo.
Hey.
Mr. Warple.
Deserves that.
My oath he does. Now, listen to this. Last month, averaging 34, 10 clearances, and then a couple of ancillary statistics, 2 free kicks for,
Yep.
and 1 goal assist per game.
Wow.
In the month prior, he was only averaging 25, 7 clearances, didn't win a single free kick in that month, and 0 goal assists.
Wow.
So, versus West
we know
Coast.
free kick Hawthorns back then, don't we?
So, versus West Coast, I want 30 touches, 8 clearances, and 2 scoreboard impact stats.
Yep. He'll be very busy against the Eagles.
All right.
And loving what he's doing. Could win their BNF, as you said.
Yeah, could shark it.
Yep.
Strong
Second
month.
year, what is he, 19, 20 years old?
Mate, it's fantastic.
What a career ahead of him.
All right, for my running cold last week, I gave you 2 old midfield warhorses. Trav Boak was the first one. He needed 27, 14 contested, 6 clearances. You said lock that in. 28, 19 contested, 8 clearances. Big tick, mate. Nailed it.
Good bloke. Sorry.
The other one was Josh Kennedy. He had to get 25, 12 contested, and 6 clearances. You said no. He had 13 contested, 10 clearances, but he only had 21 touches. So you got it.
Nice.
Dumb luck.
That feels real good.
That's
no,
a tick.
that's calculations. I had the scientific calculator last week. I was crunching the
You went to
numbers.
VCal, mate. You don't know what a scientific calculator is.
No, I never bought one, nor should Mum have bought one. They're like $200, man. No, thank you.
So that's a tick. So that sets you at 14 froths year to date. Now, for my running cold this week.
You're as cold as ice.
Sam Gray. Now, the Port Power small forward.
I was about to say, who?
Year to date, he's averaging 18 touches, 1.2 goals a game, 4 marks, nearly 1.5 marks inside 50.
Yep.
Last 2 weeks, 14 touches, he's only kicked 1 point, 1.5 marks, hasn't taken a mark inside 50. They're up against Freo this week.
Yep.
I want 3 scoreboard impact stats and 2 marks inside 50. For those of you playing along at home, scoreboard impact stats are goals behinds or goal assists.
No.
All right, we'll write him off then.
Yep, write him off. Yeah. They're playing the Dokers, so no.
Now, my second running cold this week.
You're as cold as ice.
It's Sam Walsh. Now, good year, young fella. Probably
Yep.
a bit harsh to knock a young kid for running cold
Yep.
in his first year. However,
He's only getting 35 touches.
he's been marvellously consistent. Year to date, he's averaged 26, 10 contested, 4 clearances, 340 metres gained. The last 2 weeks, though, 18 touches, 7 contested, and 200 metres gained.
Yeah.
So versus the Cats, I know it'll be a big ask, but I want 25 touches, 8 contested, 350 metres gained.
Yes, I believe in him. I believe in this kid.
Nice. I like
him.
it.
Yep, he's the rising star, and he'll be the rising star for a reason. Big game, back down at home as well, Geelong boys. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah, they look like they're going to finish with full momentum, Carlton, as well.
Yeah,
They're not going to take the
that,
foot
and that's
off.
another reason. I think they'll really challenge the Cats.
I like it. All right, well, that was my hot and cold for this week. Now it's time for us to throw a few curly questions at each other and decide whether they are Cane Corns or whether they are Confucius. Are they wisdom or waffle?
You cannot be serious.
I am smart. S-M-R-T.
All right, Bobby, I'll kick us off. Wisdom or waffle? And this is from my lips. Ross Lyon is a good fit for GWS and or your boys, the Bombers. Wisdom or waffle?
Wisdom. Whether he's a better fit than their current coaches, I don't know if I can go that far. I don't know if my footy crystal ball.
I think Leon Cameron's being treated poorly. at the moment.
Yeah, he's been treated a bit harshly. I mean, they've lost a lot of quality players over the last 3 to 4 years.
It's their medical staff that should be held to account.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. And, there's something to say about that for the Bombers as well.
Yep.
Lost a lot of key players at the wrong time this year and in the back end, unfortunately.
Gee, imagine being finals bound with Devon Smith, Danaher, and Bell Chambers.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get a good run at it. But, every club has to go through this, and you've got to find a way to still get it done.
Yeah.
We've done that, and so have they. So I don't...
Hey, we notoriously won a premiership off a year of bad injuries.
Yeah, it's doable. So I think that probably those two coaches are copping unnecessary heat. However, they do have the list formulation that would suit a guy like Ross Lyon.
Yep.
They've got men, they've got natural on-field leaders, they've got guys that can take a system and coach on-field. So why not? I mean,
I think Giants are the perfect fit.
Yeah, good key backs, good
Yep.
sensible key backs. Phil Davis is a great on-field leader. That's why he was recruited there in the first place. Michael Hurley's in the same vein. He'd be a great backline general under someone like Ross Lyon. So, yeah, I think he'd be a good fit. Whether he's better, though, I can't say that.
Yeah. All right, Bob, hit me with your first one.
All right, mate. Well, this one is from me. We found out today that Jaden Stevenson is eligible to play VFL on Saturday since the 10-game ban technically ends on Friday night in the fixture versus Essendon. My question is, this loophole should be closed and he shouldn't be available until week 1 of the finals. Wisdom or waffle?
Wisdom. Yeah. Look, he's done his time, and from all reports he's worked hard and he's done well to keep fit. However, they've geniusly masterminded this loophole and they've used it, so kudos to them. Yeah, it gets him a full game running into finals, which he could be the difference for Collingwood first week of the finals. It could be the X factor that they've been missing.
Agreed.
Because he was the X factor before he... yeah, we all know what he did.
Yeah, he was their most damaging forward at the start of the year.
Absolutely, But Wisdom, doesn't sit well with me. It's a 10-week ban, not a 10-game ban.
That's what I thought. Because I don't
10 weeks reported.
I don't understand how you would construct the actual wording of the ban.
Yeah, because last time I checked, Friday and Saturday are a day apart in the same week.
Well, it can't possibly say you must miss 10 senior games of football because then he could have played VFL the whole time.
Yep.
So surely it says 10 weeks.
Yep.
I don't understand how it's worded. It's a stupid loophole.
I enjoyed the debate today on radio, but
What was the overall consensus?
Collingwood fans, they couldn't believe that people disagreed with it, but I'd say the vast majority were like, this is bull dust.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm going to go Wisdom. My second one is from me. Michael Christian will and or should be sacked as match review officer effective after next week, going forward. Wisdom or waffle?
Yeah, wisdom. Well, I mean, whether it's next week or next year, I don't really care. Wisdom.
Yeah.
He's made some horrible errors, and he hasn't had the minerals at times to be tough enough.
Yeah.
We've seen him backflip. The Gary Ablett multiple incidents. That is the most clear-cut example of a man trying to follow the letter of the law and getting spooked out of his own judgment week to week.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's the right man for the job. I actually really enjoy watching the verdict on the AFL app where he explains it.
Yep.
Because it does help clarify some of the decisions, but, maybe every second week I'm left scratching my head about one or two of them. And the farcical thing that has happened this week, I know it involves your club, but not waiting for a medical report when
ridiculous.
being told it is on its way.
Yeah.
We're talking Monday.
Yeah.
You're not saying it will be available Thursday. We're saying, can you just wait till tonight?
Yeah. Look, I'm going to use an example, but it's not that different. It's very extreme compared to this. It's like telling anyone that they've just had scans for cancer, but we don't know if they've got cancer yet. It's like running through and going, yeah, you've probably got breast cancer. Or you've probably got prostate cancer. No, doctors don't do that, do they? No.
No, we'll wait and find out.
Yeah, we'll wait and find out the results.
Exactly.
And he didn't wait and find out the results.
I think the position of a match review officer has a lot of merit, but I don't think that he has executed the duties of that office very well whatsoever. So, wisdom, mate. That's a good one.
I reckon Jared Waitley would be a good MRO officer. He seems to know everything. But I do enjoy his... I think he's quite good.
Yeah, I don't think he's too bad either.
Yeah, he's a media pundit, but, I think it'd be quite good. Anyway, Bob,
All right, my next one, mate. Well, we wouldn't be here without the musings of our waffle god. So to pay homage and honour to him through some quotes, here is Kane Corns. Quote, I'm confident in Carlton. They will make finals next year. Probably don't expect them to win one, but they are on the same path as Brisbane. Wisdom or waffle?
Wisdom.
All right, break it down for me.
They've got a really talented list. Their kids are good. Oh, potential wisdom. Can I say potential wisdom? Is that too...
No.
Nah, I can't. All right, on the basis that they land Stephen Caniglio, if they land Stephen Caniglio, they will play finals footy next year. I won't guarantee it, but goddamn does that...
So what team are they knocking out of this year's top 8 to play finals?
GWS. Because Caniglio leaves. They won't make finals. They could have a different coach after all this chatter.
This is true.
GWS are very vulnerable. Yeah. The top 8, I think the Dogs will be better next year. I think the Bombers will be better next year. So I think they'll both play finals again next year.
Well, I think Port Adelaide will be better next year.
Yes, they will. Oh, God. Yeah, it's tough. Okay.
And arguably Hawthorn.
Yeah.
With Tom Mitchell back.
I get Kane Corn's confidence with him because I'm probably equally as confident because... I mean, you know me, I love marrying up with the romance of football and, you know, the comeback stories of all these fallen clubs. I mean, you know, we got sucked into the Melbourne hype last year. We're neck deep in the Brisbane hype. But yeah, Carlton, why not? Why not? I mean, Charlie Curnow, another year under his belt. Harry Mackay's only going to get better. Like we saw snippets on the weekend. He is he will be sensational.
Yep, agreed.
Look, Sam Walsh, he's going to be a perennial All-Australian one day. And
they'll get Doherty back.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much room for improvement here.
And if they get Papley...
Dangerous. Very dangerous. So wisdom for mine. Very interesting one. That is one of your best ones for the year.
Yeah, it's tricky because it's actually...
Are you on the wisdom scale there?
Well, it's almost 4 parts. So
yeah.
He said, I'm confident in Carlton. Wisdom. Yep. Universal wisdom. They will make finals next year. Now, you can flip a coin.
Yes.
Right? Probably don't expect them to win one. That's probably wisdom. They are on the same path as Brisbane. Probably wisdom. It's whether they make finals or not. I personally would say that's waffle.
Yep.
I think they need one more year of development.
Do you think a 10th or 11th finish next year?
Yeah, I think they need to suffer some heartbreak.
Yep.
Of almost success.
Yep.
And then they can get there.
Yep.
But too many guys that haven't played in a final.
Yeah.
Way too many.
Yeah.
So they lost a lot when they lost Gibbs and Betts. They lost a lot of experience there.
Yeah.
Senior experience.
Did I hear correctly that Cade Simpson wants to play 2 more years?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wowee.
Can do it.
Yeah.
It looks great. But he might be in a Nathan Jones type situation where Doherty comes back next year and he's just going to be better than Cade Simpson.
Yep.
And he might have to sit some games out or get repositioned.
A few Northern Blues games, maybe.
Well, Nick Newman's been very good.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you drop him.
Yep.
And then you're going to have 3 players that are all like for like.
Yep.
And 2 of them probably only get picked each week.
And look, if Mitch McGovern's learned his lesson this year about conditioning and he comes back super fit next year, bloody hell, look out. All right, Bobby. My third and final from the lips of Jack Rewalt. Jordan Lewis is a walk-up first ballot Hall of Famer. Wisdom or waffle?
Waffle for me, mate.
Yeah.
He's got the resume for it.
Yes.
But come on, man. I mean...
And he based that entire comment off the resume.
Yeah, I'm sure the resume looks fantastic.
Yeah.
There'd be
Best
some...
and fairest in a premiership year. That's no mean feat.
No, I understand that. So was that his All-Australian year as well?
Yes, 2014.
Right, so aside from
He's a 2-time All-Australian, I believe.
No, it's just the one time, mate. So
is it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That 2014 year was a standout year. So best and fairest, All-Australian.
Yeah.
So, but it's 1 year of good football.
Yeah.
You know, if Shane Woden won 3 premierships, would he be a walk-up Hall of Famer?
No.
There's got to be someone in those Hawthorn years through the 80s with Derm, alongside Derm, who's got 5 premierships to his name.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe...
Well, Langford?
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah.
You know,
Cole Langford's old man, Will, is it? Or
Chris Langford.
Chris Langford, yeah.
I don't,
those types.
I don't think they're walk-up start first ballot Hall of Famers. I just don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you have to look a little bit deeper than the resume.
I think there's a bit of emotion behind it too. I think he's very good mates with him, Jack Rewalt.
Well,
they did a lot of work together on AFL 360 and through Fox Footy.
So you don't think so either?
Complete waffle. Yeah,
complete waffle.
He is very lucky. Like, as we said off air, imagine if he played with Mark Murphy at Carlton all those years. Imagine if he played for St Kilda his whole career. Wouldn't be talking about it like that.
Mark Murphy's probably a better player than him.
He is. Yeah.
Not by streets, but just. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, mate. Well, my next one. This is fascinating. It's from Jonathan Patton's manager, Paul Connors. He said Patton was, quote, ready to go 4 to 5 weeks ago, but when his housemate Stephen Coniglio went down with his knee, it, quote, spooked him to no end, and mentally, that's just as important as physically. Now, wisdom or waffle, he is telling the truth.
Wisdom. And you could probably shed some light on this as you've suffered knee injuries yourself. Sorry to bring that up, but no, but like you know how it goes mentally. Yeah, I'm sure it did spook him, but just because Coniglio went down, like any footballer went down, probably spooks him. But that's the mental scarring those injuries leave, and all that footy he's missed. He just wants to live out his dream, doesn't he?
Well, it's not his first bad injury.
No.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I understand it. When you do your first one,
yeah,
there's a lot of, mental conditioning to tell yourself you need to be confident in your body.
Yeah.
Because when you're not is when you'll overcorrect and you'll actually do something again.
Yeah.
It's a real danger. So they do talk you through that. However, to say he was ready to go 4 to 5 weeks ago, he did also say he pulled up sore a couple of times, but he's either ready or he's not.
Yeah.
To say he's ready, but it's also taken him 4 to 5 weeks to mentally be prepared to go and play AFL football because his mate got injured.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man. Like, surely not.
No, it's sort of a two-parter like your one before.
Yeah.
That's waffle. Yeah. You either want to play footy or you don't.
He's clearly protecting him.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't do another injury in his last game for GWS.
Bit of a Kawhi lockout.
Yeah, exactly. Before he goes to Hawthorn and gets his juicy contract, because we were talking during the week, and I said, if he does an injury, if he played this week when they're desperate for him, and he did an injury, he might never get an AFL contract ever again.
He might be back at Roeville before we know it.
Or his next 3-year contract might be worth $600,000 instead of $600,000 a year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bickies at stake.
Yes.
And Paul Connors is doing a great job of protecting his client, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, good call.
Now, in breaking news, Jacko, Steele Sidebum. He's out in another horrifying incident where a bloke has copped a crack in his baby batter vat.
Oh my God!
This burst agate epidemic is surpassing the anti-vax movement in seriousness. The health message has to be clear. Vaccinate and pad up your plums, fellas.
Oh, I just sat on mine. Oh, it is an epidemic.
I can't believe that. A ruptured testicle. He suffered it at training.
Wow.
Apparently copped the errant kick from a teammate. Probably Mason Cox, because he can't kick straight to save himself.
Could be Darcy Moore.
Darcy Moore bit down a bit too hard.
You cannot be serious!
So he's had surgery to repair it today, and they're going to find out what the damage and the pain is like. So he might be out week 1 of the finals, or he might be good to go after a few days. So they're yet to release that information. But poor Steele Sidebottom.
Yeah, all the best to Steele Side Plums. Collingwood need him.
Yeah, they might replace him with Tyson Goldsack.
The irony. Finally getting the call up.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
One busts his sack, so they got to get the gold sack in.
Yeah, get a harder sack.
Yeah.
Made of tough stuff, Tyson Goldstack.
Yeah.
All right, mate. So that is wisdom or waffle and a bit of breaking news. Now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to see what Jackie Boy is shining the spotlight on this week.
Say that again. Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've said it many a times. The spotlight has never shone brighter. In fact, I can't even see. My eyes are hurting me. Ross Lyon, effective immediately 1 week out from the end of the season, has been sensationally sacked by the Fremantle Dockers, along with their chief executive officer, Steve Rossage. Why round 22, Bob?
I don't know. It's a little bit confusing, especially since last week, Ross was talking like he wasn't going anywhere. He was doing a bit of this.
You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving!
And this week, Freo have turned around and given him this.
You're fired. And in case your ears are fucked, get the fuck out!
Oh, I tell you what, Bob, that is as rough as guts, that is.
Mate, they've shown him the door.
Yep.
Fairly unceremoniously.
Yep.
With 1 week to go. The timing's confusing.
Yep.
What kind of position is a club in when they axe a senior coach and a CEO on a Tuesday morning before round 23?
Yeah, craziness for mine.
It's-
Doesn't give David Hale all that much time to win the caretaker over.
Come up with a game plan. Can I get another Nat Fife, please? That's what he'd want on the menu. But, you know, it must be a club on its knees. It stinks of a bust-up.
Yep.
Of a big Barney or a brawl.
Yep.
Something's gone on in the back office, and they just wanted to end it right then and there. Marriage over. Get the hell out.
Fremantle President Dale Alcock showed Alcock and balls in his press conference. He was as brutal as they come. I've never really heard of him. He's the silent president. Compare it to Eddie Maguire and the likes of those.
Speaking like the man who's prepared to make the hard calls when they're going to miss the finals by a game.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Ross Lyon defended himself very nicely by saying they beat 6 of the top 8 this year. And they beat them nicely.
Well, he
2
did.
weeks ago, they defeated Geelong.
Let's give you guys a little bit of a taste of his exit speech today, Ross Lyon.
First of all, so today I finished as the Fremantle Football Club coach. I'd just really like to acknowledge, probably come in under controversial circumstances, but 12, 13, 14, 15, the group went to places I wasn't sure they could go, and they weren't sure, but they were led by Pavlich and McFarlane. And it was great players and, you know, experienced some big finals and big games and a lot of winning football, and that was a great period. Probably the most special game was the prelim and the noise at that stadium in the grand final, the march across the purple haze. So, you know, I would have liked to have finished next year when we've had our best available. We've beaten 6 of the top 8. We've been in the finals. We beat Geelong last week with 8 of our 16, best 16 out, but that's why I probably don't agree with the decision, but I certainly respect the decision. And for the reasons that there was no way that the club would extend me, I wouldn't have thought beyond 2020. The noise around that was a lot for them, and they wanted some clean air.
He makes some really decent points there, Bob, for mine. 8 of their best 16, as he touched on, were missing. And they're a game out of the 8.
But if they won,
yep,
you guys lost, so-and-so lost, there is a world in which they could slide into 8th spot. Isn't that absurd?
Absurd, yeah.
Now,
that is absurd.
It must be said about Rossich, as a CEO, he was definitely seen as the architect of the Jesse Hogan trade.
Yep.
It's been reported that he took over quite a lot of the recruiting duties, and in doing so, he disenfranchised many of the staff in the process. The other thing that Freo have going on in their office is they have 6 assistant or line coaches that are not guaranteed contracts next year. It is a lot more than any other club has. Only 2 of them are guaranteed through 2020. One's David Hale.
Yep.
The other one's Anthony Rock. Peter Bell's got a bit to answer for here as well.
Yep.
It appears that he was sent from a board position to be the head of the footy department. On the weekend, I saw him spinning magnets down on the ground.
Yep.
Which was odd. But he's had many changes, and arguably he was the one to paint a target on Ross's back this year.
Sacrificial lamb, you describe Ross Lyon as?
Well, potentially.
Yeah.
You know, it's all well and good to say we haven't made finals in 4 years and things like that, but they're going to lose many staff this year.
Yeah.
They're going to potentially lose more members than the 4,500 to 5,000 they lost this year.
Yep.
They're also going to lose the Hill brothers, Ed Langdon, and at the end of the day, do you want to throw away one of the most experienced coaches in the system at the same time?
Exactly right. And does Tim Kelly want to go there? Let's be honest.
Well, apparently he's had an interview or had discussions.
Yep.
So maybe.
Maybe, yep.
But imagine if Nat Fife wanted out. This club would be ready to fold faster than a Chinese laundry.
Yep.
They honestly
can guarantee a
would be on their knees.
10-year rebuild.
Yep.
Yep.
So they're a real ramshackle mob right now, the Freo Dockers. It sounds like some catchphrase lines like toxic culture are being thrown around.
Yep.
They did have a little bit of that sexual harassment, impropriety leveled at them earlier in the season as well. So I think a lot of that has got a bit of a stink on it. But I don't know if Ross Lyon is the cause or the cancer of all of that. This is, you know, rightfully so. Plenty of people, Nick Rewalt, Nick Del Santo, have said he is the one that made that club relevant.
Relevant.
Yes.
More. He took them to the mountaintop, almost 15 points away from a premiership.
Yeah.
He took that club to heights that they'd never even dreamed of reaching at one point.
They still do have over 50,000 members.
Yep.
They average a larger crowd than your mob in home and away games all year.
I think North Ringwood average a higher crowd sometimes than my mob.
That's not just your mob, right? I think they're about 7th on the attendance list for average home and away attendances. So they're not a nothing club.
No, they're not.
They average nearly...
Well, they're a powerhouse over there.
40,000 for home games. It's thereabouts. So, you know, he did make them relevant. He did make them a premier football club.
Yep.
He did turn it into a proper 2-team town.
Yep.
And he had a lot of talent along the way, and he did a lot with it.
Yep.
So... You know, when you've got to give games to Reece Conker and Travis Collier, you know, you probably can't expect
Brandon
to win.
Matera at times,
you can't. I mean, he's been all right.
He's been all right, yeah.
You know,
and he wants out. There's reports that he's requesting a trade again.
Yeah, their failed attempt to get WA home players and recruit them back to WA to keep them there to protect the future of the club. Great idea on paper. Hasn't worked.
No.
Really hasn't worked.
And, you know, some of their star players took to Instagram and Twitter and whatnot and paid homage to Ross. Nat Fife, Michael Sonny Walters, David Mundy, to name a few. Like, these guys are walk-up Hall of Famers for this club. They're some of the best players this club's ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's how much love they have for Ross.
You got to make a bold call. You've got to find a new guy who's prepared to lead the club from the front, but he's got to lead it in all departments. And they, nowadays, more than any other skill that a coach must have, is people management.
Yep.
You must be at one with your players mentally and spiritually, not just... I mean, some of the criticisms being like, Ross Lyon wasn't boosting their skills. Mate, he's not there to teach you how to drill a 35-metre pass. I'd be amazed...
What a line coach is for, Bob.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd be amazed if ever Ross Lyon strolled down to training and said, come on, Cam McCarthy, let's practice your set shots. Like, mate, you're a professional athlete. Sort yourself out.
Yeah.
The skill level has nothing to do with what he was trying to do there.
Game plan, strategy, philosophy.
Agreed.
That is a head coach. Will we see Ross Lyon coach at senior level again in the AFL? Yes or no?
Ooh, tough to call. I think there'd be definitely clubs interested.
Yeah.
If not, I mean, maybe not this year. Let's not get caught up in too much of the hype of firing and reappointing people this year. But next year, we spoke about that earlier in the year when I said to you, by the end of next year, there could be vacancies in both South Australian teams.
Yep.
At Essendon, maybe at GWS.
Melbourne
as well. So there could be 4 to 5 vacancies next year.
Yep.
So let's not get carried away,
Yeah.
with trying to find a new home for guys the day after they get sacked.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean, Brad Scott's disappeared from the conversation.
Yep.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. I've never thought he deserved another shot. But for me, Ross Lyon will coach AFL level again. But good on him. And Bobby, as we talked about off air, he is getting paid.
Oh, cashed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cash strapped.
Take the wife and the kids away, you know.
Enjoy yourself, mate.
Yeah.
Have a little siesta.
Yeah.
If someone wants to pay you big biggies next year to go and coach their team, ready-made man's list, then do it. Good on you.
I did love his style rocking up to the random paddock they found in Perth for the press conference.
Yeah, local footy oval.
He looked like he was straight off the set of Top Gun with those aviator sunnies. He looked fresh as a daisy.
He was pretty casual, wasn't he?
Very cash, yeah. Alrighty, I've dimmed the lights a bit. I've got a mini little spotlight shining, and it's Ken Hinkley. There's been quite a bit of discussion. Obviously, Port being inconsistent, but I think what a lot of sensationalist, reactionary media pundits are forgetting is that he's played a lot of kids this year, and they are good damn kids as well. Now, Port Adelaide would be ridiculous to get rid of Ken Hinkley at the end of this year. Yes or no, Bob?
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Ken Hinkley's done, let's not say wonders.
Yep.
But he's done a very serviceable job.
Yep.
With what he has. So his backline...
He made this football club relevant again.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yep. They were throwing tarps over seats to make it look busier.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He brought some fire. I mean, the same way Phil Walsh.
Yep.
You know, just the ethos and the... You know, that man brought life and a heartbeat back to that club is what it felt like.
Re-imaged them after Brendan Boring Sanderson.
And Ken Hinkley has done exactly the same thing with Port Adelaide. I think you just let him go around one more year.
Yep.
If it gets worse, it gets worse. The recruiting has been poor.
Yes.
We can say
now,
that.
You touched on this off air. Give us a few names, Bob.
Well, Motlop's been a failure.
Yep.
Watts has been a failure.
Yep.
Rockcliffe hasn't been what they thought he would be when they got him.
Yep.
They are having some problems with Lysette, who I think is... I said it only
Lieutenant Lysette.
A month ago. I was like, he could be a top 5 ruckman next year.
Yep.
Right, and they are deciding to play him in the Sandful. It's not right.
Paddy Ryder's out the door.
Paddy Ryder is 100% out the door, and they played him over Lysette on the weekend. Made no sense to me whatsoever. I know they want to blood this Laddams kid, but Charlie Dixon hasn't been what they thought he would be either. So they've made some serious recruiting errors. They're lucky that Travis Boakes rediscovered some All-Australian form. Ollie Wines will be better next year. I think they'll get a little bit more out of their kids as well, but they did lose Polek and Pittard. You know, they lost some pieces.
Jonas has been very solid down back too.
He has, but a lot of their backline is nameless and faceless. I wouldn't know who they were in the street. I didn't know who Dan Houston was until 5 weeks ago. To tell you the truth. I really didn't. He cut us up and I was like, who the hell's Dan Houston? You know, and I realised that he's a young fella. He's got a bright future in front of him. Tom Jonas is probably coming into the best footy of his career. So Ken Hinckley can definitely make improvements next year, but next year's the litmus test. This year is a warm-up to what has to be results-driven 2020.
And let's just remember, ladies and gentlemen, Port can make finals at the end of next week. It's well and truly alive.
Exactly.
So, I think everyone should just settle down on the Ken Hinckley stuff for now. Couldn't agree more, Bob. He's the man to take them forward for at least another 12 months.
As always, it's time for the financial wizard to drop some pearls on you. It's time for Jack's Multi.
All right, Bob, I have 5 legs for you, coming red hot from courtesy of Sportsbet, of course. My first leg, Friday night, Adam Treloar to get 30 or more against your boys, paying $1.40. Don't mind that. Into St Kilda at the line, 15.5 plus 15.5 points, $1.90. My third, juice, Bob. Juice.
Succulents.
Succulent.
A succulent Chinese meal.
Ben Cunnington to get 30 or more against the D's, paying $2.30.
Oh, wow.
Found a diamond in the rough there, Bob, because he had 37 last week. My fourth leg, Brisbane plus 14.5 at the line against the Tigers on the MCG this weekend. I like that. $1.90.
Nice.
And my certainty of the round, North Melbourne head-to-head against the D's, paying $1.25. Wrap that all up, Bob. What do you get? $14.15. Whack a pineapple on it, boys and girls, because it'll come through with the goods. There you have it. Gamble responsibly.
All right, well, last week my multi got absolutely crushed. It was most legs, to be quite honest with you. It got let down left, right and centre. We both got let down by the West Coast, and we were mightily close, but Matty Crouch got 24 touches instead of the 30 I needed.
Prick.
Yeah, and Melbourne couldn't offer up anything against the Swans, so they got blown out. This week, I'll give you a little bit more of a conservative one. Pies head-to-head, $1.38 against the Dons. Geelong at a line of minus 15.5 at $1.36. West Coast also minus 15.5 at $1.40. Richmond versus Brisbane. Now, this one is wire-to-wire market. Any other result. So we're looking for lead changes across quarters. That's $2.10. Jack McRae, 30-plus touches on the weekend. That's $1.22. Roll it all together, $6.73. So jump on board, buy yourself something fancy for the weekend once you cash in. And as you say, Jacko, gamble responsibly.
Ooh, I love that, Bob. I might jump on yours too. Very nice. Succulent.
Alrighty, now the tips last week, Jacko, I foolishly messaged you before the Carlton St Kilda game, and I said I'd like to change my tip. The late mail was Jacob Wiedering out, considering they already had Liam Jones out, and I thought, here we go. Membry, Bruce, these boys are going to fire. But lo and behold, Carlton too strong. So I mucked that up. That would have been the one I needed to put us even Stevens. You, as a result, are still up by one solitary vote year to date.
Oh, what a round of footy we got coming in.
It's amazing. But before we get into the match preview, we're going to give you a little bit of a ladder predictor as well. Now, the Lions, they've secured a top 2 spot unless they get drubbed by the Tigers by over 10 goals. Highly unlikely.
Unlikely.
Should Brisbane lose, Geelong will climb back to the top. However, if the Cats fail against Carlton, they could fall to 4th. If it goes that way for Geelong, they could end up facing an away final versus the Lions in 4th, or they could be 3rd facing an away final versus the Eagles. Make it a bit of a tough run for the Pussycats from there, I would have thought. Collingwood and Richmond could also swap 4th and 5th. If the Pies win versus the Bombers and the Tigers lose versus the Lions, a second chance to Collingwood in the top 4. That's hilarious in my opinion.
Yep.
That they're good enough to get a second chance, but they are in the right spot, so well done. 6, 7, and 8 are essentially staying put. The Dogs can lift up to 7th, but the Giants really aren't moving anywhere. If the Bombers can pull off an upset, they'll lock in 7th place and face GWS. The Dogs will either face Collingwood or Richmond at the G. Still a lot riding on this round. Sunday is a massive, massive day for determining the final 8 positions of the ladder. So let's crack in and have a look at the match preview. Game 1, it is the Pies versus the Bombers, MCG, Friday night. It'll be a thumping, roaring crowd. Who do you have to win this one and why?
I'm really nervous because I really want to win this tipping because every other call I've made this season's been a howler. I'm going to tip Essendon.
Bold.
Very bold. No steel sideball. So, yeah. I'm just going to go out on a risky limb here, and I'm going to tip your boys based off last week. I think you'll find a way.
I like it, mate. That fills me with a deep sense of pride. No,
You're tipping Collingwood, aren't you?
Of course I'm tipping Collingwood. I am also trying to win this tipping competition. I'm going to lock in the Pies. They're going to be way too good against us. Brodie Grundy is going to ruck against no one and get 70 hit-outs. I don't know how we stop them. However, I think you're closer to on the money than what I'm suggesting. I reckon it might be a tight contest, mate.
Yeah. Classic?
No.
Okay.
Next game of the round, it's the Swannies hosting the Saints at the SCG. It's 15th versus 14th, 2 fairly evenly matched teams. This will be Buddy's 300th, which you and I discussed a little bit earlier. Who do you have to win this one, and why, and should Buddy be playing?
No, Buddy shouldn't be playing. Should have been a deal struck with the AFL that round 1 they play Hawthorn next year, and he plays his 300th against them at the G in front of 80,000 appreciative fans.
Best call you've made all year.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. I'm tipping St Kilda. I just think they're in much better form. I know Sydney drubbed Melbourne, but yeah, St Kilda have looked way better than Sydney. So Saints for mine to spoil Buddy's party on Saturday. Bobby, who are you tipping?
Look, I also believe the Saints can win, but strategically it makes sense for me to tip St Kilda as well.
Yep.
I like what the Saints dished up against Carlton. That was a great game. It was a tough, contested footy game. I think they'll be smart enough to drop Jack Stephen and actually play AFL-ready player this week, so they won't be playing one short, as Matty Lloyd said during the week. So I'm going to take the Saints, and I'm going to take them by about 20 points. I think they're a good team.
Does Ratton get the job for you?
If they win, yes. Lock it in. Next game, it is the Roos hosting the Demons. It's down at Tassie. Last game in the Apple Isle for the year at Blundstone Arena. Who do you have to win this one and why?
Jordan Lewis's final farewell game will be ruined as North Melbourne will beat them by 50 points.
Yeah, I'd consider a spanking too.
Yep.
North Melbourne, jeez, they look like an absolute unstoppable bullet train right now. And the Demons offered up nothing in a deplorable effort. I don't know how they turned that around. Mentally weak. Goldstein versus Gawn. Interesting. Very interesting battle.
Be interesting to see how Simon Neild goes about his off-season.
Oh, harsh. Very harsh. All right, next game. It's the Cats versus the Blues. It's at GMHBA Stadium at 4:35 on the Saturday. Who do you have to win this one, and by how much, Jacko?
Geelong will win by 15 points.
I've got the Catters to win by 50.
Oh, okay.
I think they're going to see this as a finals preview.
Yep.
I think they're going to apply some heat.
Bit of anger from last week.
Yeah, a bit of anger. You did highlight to me the Harry Taylor response at the end of the game.
Unbelievable. He was so angry.
Yeah, we talked about the Paddy Dangerfield response as well.
Yep.
These blokes were bitterly disappointed. They will be itching to prove that they are cherry ripe for week 1 of the finals, and they will not want to drop to 4th.
What's 15 plus 40?
55.
55. I'm going to tip it by 55 points. You've sold me.
Oh my God.
No, I had a bit of a think about it. I've been a bit bullish with Carlton, but yeah.
Had to use his scientific calculator for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Pies, charts.
Moving on. It's the Expansion Cup. It's the Suns versus the Giants, last game of the year for those two. It's at Metricon Stadium. It's 18th versus 6th. Saturday night blockbuster. Who do you have to win this one, mate?
Giants by 60 points.
Yeah, hard to disagree with you.
Yeah.
The Suns look likely to get spanked by 10 goals every week. And again, the Giants will look to respond after a poor week.
Roeville or Bowen, they'd probably take it up to the Suns at the minute.
Oh, wow. All right, the next game on Saturday night. This actually should be a bit of an interesting battle.
Not Roeville, I meant Vermont.
The Eagles are hosting the Hawks over at Optus Stadium. This is a big one because technically if Hawthorn win this, they could still make the 8 if your boys were to lose. So a lot on the line for the Hawks here. Do you think they have it in them, or do you think the Eagles are flying too high?
Eagles by 30. Yeah, they'll get the job done.
Yeah, I think the Eagles will get it comfortably done. They didn't put too many steps wrong in their loss to Richmond, and over there, way too strong. Way too strong. All right, the Sunday games. Now, these are the ones that matter. These are the ones that will decide everything in the top 8. The first one to kick it off, up at Mars Stadium. You're going to make the journey.
Yep, going up to Ballarat early Sunday morning.
Head up to the Rat and enjoy some local footy. It'll be the Doggies versus the Adelaide Crows. Obviously, you're going to tip your boys.
Yep.
How much do you think you'll win by?
35 points.
Yeah, solid win. I can see a comfy win happening. I can also see a version where you lose this game.
Yep.
But it would take Adelaide to play out of their skin.
And for us to have a royal stinker.
Agreed. So, I just don't...
And we beat the Lions up there this year.
What I don't think is that they can afford to play 2 ruckmen like they did last week.
Yep.
That was a disaster.
Yep.
It really made Riley O'Brien look like he doesn't deserve to be out there when he's had such a strong year.
Yep.
I don't understand playing Sam Jacobs. I don't understand it.
Yep.
Season on the line and they chose to play 2 ruckmen.
Dumb.
Absolutely
Dumb
stupid. So, yeah, I think, mate, if they make that mistake again, I reckon you could beat them by 40 to 50.
Yep.
But if they smarten up and they try and inject a bit of pace in there, because they'll have to match it with your boys, I reckon they might keep it to about a 15 to 20 point margin.
Okay, cool.
Next game, it's another top of the table classic potentially. Richmond versus the Lions, the 2 big cats of the jungle to battle it out. Who do you have to take away the chocolates at the home of footy, mate?
Richmond. Yeah, Richmond, too strong at home. I was going to tip Brisbane, but I had a long, hard think about it. I'm going to have to go with Richmond. I think Brisbane might get a little bit spooked in front of that massive crowd at the G. I remember the last time they played Richmond at the G, they scored 17 points for the game.
Yeah, well, that was a different Brisbane. Different time, but this is going to be one of my strategy tips, mate. I'm going to take the Lions.
Oh, here we go.
Well, if we don't differ on 2, I can't possibly win. So
yeah.
I'm going to take the Lions to win this one. I'm going to take them to win it in a classic. I don't see either team blowing each other out of the water either.
Yeah, Richmond by 3 points for me.
Yeah, nice call. I like it. All right, last game to cap it all off. It's the Power versus the Dockers at Adelaide Oval. Who do you have to win this one, and by how much, mate?
Fremantle. Fremantle will beat Port Adelaide and end their season. They'll win by about 15 points. I'm not saying this confidently.
No, you don't look confident at all.
No. The caretaker coach thing. I don't know.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to take Port Adelaide. I think that guys like Ed Langdon and Brad Hill are not going to risk their contracts next year. They will take the foot all the way off the gas, and that Fremantle will pretty much just walk through about 2 quarters of footy before they hang up the boots.
I feel like I might be texting you before the weekend like you did last week and changing that one. I'm swaying from side to side in nerves right now.
All right, so that is the match preview. Now, before we sign off every week, we do ask each other what we're looking forward to the most. So here it is, mate. Round 23. What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to Bulldogs stamping themselves into the finals. What a great little fight back we've had to get to where we are.
It's amazing.
To be blessed with the position we're in. Remember, it wasn't all so long ago I rocked up to basketball on Sunday night. Nearly in tears, because we just got absolutely humiliated by St Kilda. And I was like, where to now? What are we made of?
Yeah,
Who are we?
Season over.
Yeah. And I just didn't even feel like we had an identity. Dominant in the midfield, liabilities all around the ground. But we are kicking big scores. And I'm looking forward to beating the Crows and being there for it. I'm looking forward to going up there, taking it all in, enjoying watching AFL football at a local football ground is going to be somewhat enjoyable. Of course, and I can't wait. And I know it's a little bit biased, but whatever.
Give us stuff.
Up the Doggies.
Good on you, mate.
What are you looking forward to? I've got a feeling I know what you're looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to Brisbane at the G.
Yeah.
It's been, like I said, over 4 months since they've caressed the hallowed turf. It's time to see if they're actually fit to grace it in September. This is the toughest assignment in football, in my opinion, is Richmond at the G when they're up and about. And this will really see what Brisbane are made of. They could fall from I think they're about 3rd or 4th in the flag betting, but they could drop right down if they get absolutely demolished on the MCG. But this team has surprised us week in, week out, and I think Chris Fagan will have been planning this for months.
Yep.
From the moment they looked cherry ripe to make finals, he will know that this is one of the most important games they might play for years.
Yep.
That's my looking forward to. Now, what is your worst case scenario, Jacko?
Geelong losing to Carlton at home. I think there's a world where they actually might. Like, based off what I've seen, I have not been impressed with Geelong at all.
Well, that Carlton team had fourth quarter grit on the weekend.
Yeah. Serious fourth quarter grit. And they're going to take a few blue baggers down with them. They're not going to be silent. Their fans are up and about. So that's my doomsday. What about yours, Bob?
Mine is that Buddy does a bad hammy. And that it was all for nothing. And that he could have had an entire preseason to get himself right before celebrating his 300th. He is an absolute champion of this game.
Legend.
And this just seems like a really rushed, out of position decision to try and pump up crowd numbers to cash in from the Sydney Swans, to be honest with you. This seems like they are trying to get gate revenue.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why you would do that.
Yeah.
So if Buddy goes down because he's not 100% fit, that said, he's had 8 weeks off for a hammy, so he should be fine.
Yeah.
But if he goes down, a lot of Sydney's future currency on 2020 will go down with him.
Yep.
So that's my worst case scenario.
Underwhelming 300th for such a powerhouse.
Yeah, he's an icon of a generation.
Yep. Alrighty, Bob. Well, God, I am knackered. What an episode we have just had. But look, we're at the pointy end. It's the final round. Who's going to win the tips? Is it me or Bob? Who knows? But can't wait to find out next week. But look, Bob, had a tremendous time with you tonight. Plenty to tuck into, and I'm sure that next week's just going to be the exact same plus more. It's going to be incredible. I cannot wait for the weekend. Just hurry up.
Yeah, next week's going to be a big one, mate. So we will wrap up round 23. We'll also preview all the 4 finals matches to be played the week after. We're going to go through our mid-season review and see how some of our end of home and away year predictions stacked up. All that is just at your fingertips. Jump on our Facebook page, the FATSIDE Podcast, like and make sure you follow us. And if you haven't already, scroll down, hit the bell, subscribe on YouTube. You can also jump on and subscribe on SoundCloud so you can catch the content every week as it drops. And as always, Jackie Boy with his famous sign-off before the fat lady fires up her pipes.
Just before my sign-off, big announcement to come from the Fat Side in the next week. Stay tuned. Good night.
And that is it.